Donald Trump's son-in-law and the Middle East peace envoy of the administration have now arrived in Egypt to join in those talks between Israel and Hamas to try to end the war in Gaza. A senior US official told an Israeli news channel the two men would not leave Egypt without an agreement. We can talk to Tim Marshall, the former foreign correspondent, author of the book Prisoners of Geography. Hello to you, Tim.
Hello, John.
So, I mean, the other day you were saying we would know they're really getting down to brass tacks if Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff turned up to join in, and now they have.
Yep, Kushner's there, Witkoff is there, Ron Dermer has arrived as well. He's Netanyahu's right-hand man. Nothing gets agreed without him being in the room. The Qatari Prime Minister, Sheikh Al-Thani, has turned up, and interestingly, Turkey's intelligence chief has shown up. Now, they're not there to mess around for 5 or 6 days and come away with nothing. They are there that in the next, I would say, 24 to 48 hours, it's make or break time. It's decision time.
Right. And there are still, despite the optimistic noises and the positive analysis from, pretty solid analysts like you, Tim, Hamas are there. They say they want a total withdrawal from Gaza of the Israeli Defense Force. And Israel, they want total disarmament of Hamas. Are these immovable obstacles there?
That's why Kushner and Witkoff are in the room, because the pressure, not just on Hamas, but they will be pressuring enormously Qatar and Turkey, because Qatar and Turkey, who bankroll Hamas, have got leverage over them. They are also going to be pressurizing the Israelis, because you mentioned sticking points on the Hamas side. The sticking points on the Israeli side will be that, well, it's in the immediate term twofold. One part of the deal is that 250 prisoners that the Israelis hold who are serving life sentences for multiple terrorist murders are on the list that Hamas has submitted. Now, there's only 285 Palestinian prisoners serving life sentences. So in other words, just about every single one of them's coming out. And this includes people like Mahmoud Barghouti, who's serving, I think, 5 life sentences. So that would be a huge compromise for the Israelis to give up, and I suspect they will be pressured on that point. Yes. The other one is that some of the Nakba forces who actually committed some of the mass murders and mass rapes on October the 7th, their names are on the list as well. So, there are these, we really are getting to the really, really sharp and sharpest points.
Yes.
And it's taken 2 years to get here.
Yeah, the name you mentioned there, Marwan Barghouti, that's worth focusing on, isn't it? Because Marwan Barghouti has been and he was still performing this role even in custody, in detention in Israel. He's a very leading figure among Palestinians. Yes. He's in there, in jail for terrorist offences, but he argues for a two-state solution. He's seen as being not entirely in the main run of militant Palestinians.
No, Barghouti was convicted in 2004 on 5 counts of murder, and he was behind some of the wave of suicide bombings when buses and restaurants and things were bombed. And he's been in, for more than 20 years now. He's not a well man. He's really not very well. He's from Fatah, the PLO organization. He's not Hamas. But what he is probably the best known and best respected of the Palestinian leadership that's left. And so getting him out would be a huge feather in Hamas's cap, and I suspect they would then try to use it to say, look, we did this, we still need a role in the life of Palestinians, but it would be difficult for the Israelis to give it, but I think it's probably one that they would. You mentioned the getting rid of arms. The problem Hamas has is that when you look at the deal, they have to, let's say they agree this time tomorrow, yep, we're on. Within 72 hours, they have to hand over the 20 living and the 28 thought to be dead hostages. Among the 20 living is a Nepalese guy. Poor guy's been there for 2 years, who may or may not be dead. But as soon as that has happened, the Israelis pull back, but they only pull back a couple of miles. What Hamas is going to be arguing over the next 24, 48 hours is, no, you need to go all the way back just about to the border, because what Hamas fears more than anything, they give up their only real trump card they have left, and the Israelis then renege on the deal, and they're finished.
Right, now let's look a bit more lastly at Benjamin Netanyahu and the I don't know, the corner that he's in many ways. If he didn't want this deal. He's been forced into this position by Donald Trump, who's been swearing at him, pushing him, handing him the phone and ordering him to apologise to Qatar for that bombing of Doha. But now he is where he is. If he goes down this route, and if he agrees a peace deal, there are hardliners in the cabinet who say they want no part of this deal. They will want no part of this deal. Well, they will bring him down, Tim, won't they?
It's certainly possible, but it depends, I think, how popular the deal is back in Israel, what they give. And again, this does constrain Netanyahu, because if the public thought he'd given too much, if enough of the public thought he'd given too much, then yes, he risks the government being collapsed, the cabinet being collapsed and triggering elections. Excuse me. And I know that yesterday, all the major opposition parties, some sort of centre, right and left, got together, and they are waiting for this moment. So how Netanyahu does the deal and then gets out of getting kicked out of office is something that's concentrating his mind as well. So we have these hurdles, but this is what I suspect the two American big hitters are there for. They're in the room. They're saying to Ron Dermer, get on the phone to Bibi, as his nickname is, and tell him he's going to do this, because Trump does not go this far just to get nothing. And by the way, I don't know if you saw it, John, Sisi, the Egyptian president, has extended an invitation to Trump to fly into Egypt and help sign this deal.
Right.
He would love that. Actually, Nobel Peace Prize is being announced in 2 days' time.
Yes. And we know that rather preys on Donald Trump's mind. Tim Marshall, author and journalist, analyst. Great to have you, as always, on the programme, Tim.
We are very close to making a deal on the Middle East that will bring peace to the Middle East. After all of these years of millions and millions, tens of millions of people being killed, there's a chance to bring peace to the Middle East. We are very close to making a deal on the Middle East that will bring peace to the Middle East. After all of these years of millions and millions, tens of millions of people being killed, there's a chance to bring peace to the Middle East. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead, sir.
What guarantees are you giving your Arab partners that Israel will not resume its offensive after the hostages are released?
Well, the primary guarantee is once this deal happens, if it does happen, look, they're in negotiations right now, we are going to do everything possible. We have a lot of power, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure everybody adheres to the deal.